You know that feeling, right? You have this great idea, you get it down on the page, but it just kind of falls flat. The paragraph doesn't have that punch you were hoping for. Well, today, we're going to open up the writer's toolkit and build some seriously powerful, persuasive paragraphs that actually connect with your reader.
It's so frustrating. You state your point, but it feels, I don't know, weak, right? Unsupported. It's kind of like a table with only one leg. A brilliant idea needs a solid structure to stand on, so let's get into how to actually build that structure.
Okay, so think of your topic sentence like the blueprint for a house. It tells the reader exactly what you're planning to build. But, a blueprint alone isn't very convincing. It's all the supporting sentences, the walls, the roof, the foundation, that turn that idea into something real and solid. So, what are these tools we're talking about? Well, it all really boils down to 3 essential, what I like to call power moves. If you can master details, explanation, and examples, you can turn pretty much any basic idea into something that's solid and compelling. So, let's start with the first one. First up, details. This is your #1 tool for fighting against those vague general statements we all sometimes make. Details are what paint that vivid picture in your reader's mind, and they make your ideas feel concrete and, honestly, unforgettable. The core idea here is actually super simple. A detail just tells more. So if your topic sentence is something like, "The car was old," the details tell us how it was old. Was it rusty? Did the engine sputter every time you turn the key? Did it smell a little bit like mothballs? That specificity, that's where the magic happens. Right, take this example. Saying, "I'm going to the health club" is a perfectly fine sentence. But listen to what happens when you add details like state-of-the-art equipment and a sauna. All of a sudden, you're basically transporting the reader there. They can almost smell the chlorine and hear the weights clanking. That is the power of a good detail.
All right, next up is our second power move, explanation. Because let's be real, sometimes details aren't quite enough on their own. You also need to make sure your reader actually understands what your idea means. And that's the job of an explanation. You can think of an explanation as like a bridge to your reader's understanding. It's basically you saying, "Hey, just in case this is a new or maybe a complex idea, let me walk you through how it works." It's how you make sure nobody gets left behind.
Proverbs are a great example of where this is needed. You can't just drop a saying like "a stitch in time saves 9" into your writing and just assume everyone's going to get it. But a quick explanation, just clarifying that it's all about fixing small problems early on, makes that wisdom accessible to absolutely everyone.
And now for our final, and you could argue our most persuasive power move, the example. So if details paint the picture and explanation clarifies it, then the example is what proves it's real. This is your evidence. This is your show, don't tell moment.
The key word here, the one you really need to notice, is specific. An example isn't just another general idea. It's your concrete proof. It's your case study. It's that one perfect story or event that just completely demonstrates your point.
So here's how it works in practice. You could just say, "Sometimes bad dates work out." Or you could tell the specific story of that one date where you both realized you were so much better off as friends. That one story, with all its awkward or funny moments, is just so much more convincing than the general statement alone.
Okay, so you've used your power moves. Your paragraph is strong, it's supported, but how do you end it? You can't just stop. You've got to stick the landing with a really solid concluding sentence. It's like the bow that ties the whole package together.
And it really only has 2 simple but totally vital jobs. You can either give a quick summary of the support you just laid out, or you can circle all the way back to your main idea, your topic sentence, and just say it again, but in a fresh way. Either way, it gives the reader a really satisfying sense of closure.
And listen, this is the most important rule of all. I'm serious. The concluding sentence is for wrapping things up, not for opening a whole new can of worms. If you introduce a brand new idea at the very end, all you're going to do is confuse your reader and weaken the entire paragraph you just worked so hard to build. Don't do it.
So, that's the toolkit. It's a pretty simple process, right? You start with your main point, then you build your case, you bring it to life with specific details, you clarify it with a good explanation, and then you prove it with a powerful example.
So the next time you sit down to write, I want you to think about this toolkit. Look at one of your paragraphs and just ask yourself, could this use a little more detail? Does this point maybe need an explanation? Or, you know what, would a really specific example just knock this one out of the park? The power is officially in your hands.